My name is Mr. Nathan Lloyd. I'm the CEO and Chairman of Avoveg.
Briefly tell us what Avoveg is about, because I know we're dealing with agriculture right now and fruit produce and export. So just in your own words, just take us through what Avoveg is about.
Okay, thank you. Basically what our key flagship product that we do is avocados. We do vegetables. As the name implies, Avoveg is because of avocado and vegetables. That's what we mainly export, and mainly to Europe.
Agriculture is one of the key pillars, as you know, of the current president's legacy that he wants to leave. It has been quite a difficult ride, especially with the COVID-19 pandemic. How has that been for you in the industry?
It's been extremely difficult. It's been extremely difficult. Business has its own challenges as it is. Now, throw in the mix of COVID, it has literally brought us to our knees in terms of trying to sustain. A case in point, one example would look at our containers on the high seas in 2020. Because of COVID, the countries went into lockdown. The containers were not allowed to dock into those specific countries. And the shelf life of the avocado fruit is 45 days. So basically, needless to say, by the time the countries came out of lockdown in Europe, those containers were totally destroyed and unable even to dock. And once they arrived, they were actually destroyed. And all that credit note comes back to Avoveg.
So like many other industries, you've suffered major losses. Extremely major losses. It's been difficult. 2020, even stepping into 2021, we've suffered major losses. Have you had any avenue like to deal with the government, like any ministries? Have they been helpful in any way?
Not at all. I don't think there's any support we have got at all. And more sadly so, there's no listening ear that you can actually turn, especially the small and medium-sized businesses. So I'm speaking on behalf of Avoveg and also our competitors who are friendly competitors. No support at all.
So basically what you're saying is that the government has been typically not useful at all to you?
On the business aspect, zero.
Zero?
Yes.
Absolutely not?
Not at all.
Wow.
Yes.
All right. So has there been any kind of communication to mitigate this?
The communication, it's very difficult to sit on the panel and be able to get one to listen to the current challenges that we're facing and also propose some recovery measures that we could be able to do as a company and also with our competitors and as a country at large. There's no like round table meeting and discussion where you can have that forum, or it would be more of the government also reaching out. What really is happening? What can we do? Of course, we know that the agri-sector is the bedrock of entrepreneurs building the economy.
With agriculture being, one of the bedrocks of, building this country, so to speak, would you then say that the government has failed this industry of agriculture?
Absolutely.
How so?
It's failed because we're operating and working within Kenyan borders, but even with all those losses, we have had banks taking opportunistic measures to be able to see what can we do to basically bring the business to its knees and maybe to close shop. So banks have taken advantage, and if there's just the same way, if you look at the president has announced that for CRB, those should be cleared. But the CRB is not just the issue alone. There are loans that have gone into default, and those loans have gone into default directly connected to COVID. So when you clear your CRB, the banks are saying, okay, fine, your CRB is cleared, but that has not done anything to cushion the effects and the losses that we have faced. And there's not even any form of recovery measure that we have at the same time. So there's no reach out, there's no concern, it's just very good words with no action. Specifically
for the avocado market, I seem to remember the president one time, announced that there was a deal, with external partners, that we would have an avocado market outside the country, and that's what you're dealing with right now. So would you say, is this the government reneging on its promise on, having an export market outside there for avocados, specifically because you're in this industry yourself?
The one specifically you're talking about was be related to the market to China, because China, with a population, I think, of about 1.4 billion, as far as that goes, it is very well said, but I think our president has not consulted the right parties, because the agreement was to ship avocados at minus 30 degrees. minus 30 degrees, you would have the very fiber of the avocado destroyed. So it's a quick action, and the people he surrounds himself with, you don't have the experts speaking to him. You don't have the people on the ground speaking to him. The small and medium business entrepreneurs, just a group of them coming together, they don't speak to him. So in principle, the agreement is there. Can it be implemented? Absolutely not. That's why nothing has happened. Yes.
All right.
So it's words with no action.
All right. So what does this mean for Avoveg? Are you still dealing avocados, or you ventured into different fruit produce?
We're still dealing in avocados. We've still ventured also into vegetables. And then now we've also started just recently, about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Now we're exporting also mangoes. We're exporting to the Middle East.
How's that going?
That's going very well. Yes, it's opened another window of opportunity since the avocado season is over. Now we're focusing on mangoes until avocado season kicks in back next year.
Just recently, the Kenyan curfew was lifted. Has this impacted any way on the business or the industry?
It has, but it has come too late. It has come too late because it has been lifted when the avocado season is over. 80% of what we do is avocados. So yes, it has come too late. You can have special passes to our farmers, special pass, but our farmers were still harassed on the highways, and this is a perishable product. So any delay of 2 or 3 days, which did happen, we now face a quality issue. So has it? Yes, but we'll only feel the effects next year.
As a firm and as a company, I mean, I know you hold fort for so many farmers out there. And of course, these are people who, this is their daily life. This is their daily bread, so to speak. What does this mean for people like those that look up to, firms like you, companies like you, to earn their daily living?
It means that their lives are devastated. We have had farmers here cannot pay their children's school fees. They cannot put food on the table. And you see, it's all a chain reaction. When we have the losses because of COVID, that means those are losses that cannot be paid. Means we will not get that inflow. When we can't get that inflow, we can't meet and pay our farmers. So that it's all the way down to the grassroots. When we try and look at what's the possible bailout, we talk about sometimes our government bailing out different institutions and all that. If you bail out the agriculture sector, it's a much better avenue as opposed to just all these words with no action. Yes.
I know we started off by saying, agriculture is one of the key pillars of the current president's legacy, but it also goes into industrialization. So what does that mean, especially for, the young people who, they need to get employed, they need work, they need to, make a living for themselves? What does this mean for them?
Industrialization definitely will have huge benefits, because that means that we go into even the possibility of going to a 24-hour economy, which Avoveg is also. Apart from the time of COVID, we had to completely come down to almost a standstill. You talk about employment, but I think the best form of also employment is this. I think we have about 4 million people, and I think the best form of employment is actually to create your own business. Because through creating your own business, these young men and women who are very able and capable could actually now employ additional. So if you looked at getting, let's say, 100,000 young businessmen and businesswomen to start their business and be able to now employ others, it will have a dramatic effect on the economy. Yes, positive effect.
We're going into a political season. Will the political year affect things like this, the industry that you're in? Because, sometimes there are promises that we're made. Of course, you'll come and be told that this will happen because it's a political year. Will politics have an impact on this current business, especially in industrialization, in agriculture, and especially the future for Avoveg?
I think with politicians, if we don't allow it to happen, and I think Kenya, I have to give also quite a bit of credit to Kenya. We've become a much more mature economy. A case in point, our current president cannot say that he's going to run for a third term. So that kind of certainty and having security is the bedrock and key to all businesses. So security, and even what happened in the past, I don't see a repeat. Yes, there could be some tension, which happens. It happens even in the US. It has happened all over the world, so as far as that goes. But with adequate security, and a lot of people have been reined in, there's now this independent body that I think is being set up about hate speech. As long as the hate speech, and it's a fair political race, there's really not much big concern that we have.
From where you sit in your particular industry, what would you like to see be done?
Industry is just to keep cool heads, fight fairly. Politics is about a battle back and forth. So just keep cool heads and may the best man or best woman win. That's just it.
That's just it.
Yes.
All right. So do you mind taking us on a tour of the plant?
Sure.
Yeah?
Terrible.
We can see that?
Yes, we can.
Alrighty. Let's go see Avoveg for what it is. So this is a part of the Avoveg plant, all the way from processing to production to packaging. And as you can see right here, we have French beans, we have sugar snaps, and we have snow peas. But literally, this is where Kenya gets to meet the world. But the question is, what happens in a pandemic? Do these exports get to meet the world, or do we have questions that we literally have to ask the government to answer? In real time, this is Jackie Maribe.